It starts with a feeling you can't name. Not love. Not yet. Something closer to gravity, like the floor tilting slightly toward one person in a room full of people. You notice them before you're ready to notice them. And when they notice you back, something in your chest shifts. They say the right thing. Not everything, just enough. Enough to make you lean in. Enough to make you want to be worth their attention. You're not naive. You've been hurt before. You know the signs, you've read the articles, you've had the conversations with friends. You tell yourself you're walking in with your eyes open. You're not. But you don't know that yet. They text you first. You screenshot it. Level 2, the warmth. 3 weeks in and everything feels chosen. They remember the name of your childhood dog. They show up to something small, a work presentation, a bad Tuesday, and that gesture lands like it means everything. Maybe it does. You're still deciding. They make you feel specific. Not like a type. Like you. You start rearranging things for them without noticing. You cancel plans once. Then twice. Your friends say nothing the first time. By the third time, they say something small and you defend this person with a heat that surprises you. That heat is information. You don't read it correctly. You tell yourself, this is just what it feels like when it's real. The intensity. The orbit. The way a day without a message from them feels longer than it should. You are already adjusting your nervous system around their behavior. You don't have a word for this yet. Level 3, the first cold. They go quiet for 4 days. No explanation. No fight. Nothing happened that you know of. You check your last messages 20 times looking for what you did. You find nothing. That makes it worse. When they come back, they're warm again. Warmer than before. They say they were going through something. They don't say what. You don't push. You're so relieved they're back that relief and love feel indistinguishable. This is the first time you betray yourself. You had a right to ask. You had a right to feel confused, maybe even hurt. Instead you perform understanding you don't quite feel, because the alternative, them leaving, feels unbearable in a way you cannot explain to anyone. You start monitoring. Not dramatically. Just noticing. When they seem happy you feel safe. When they seem distant you feel afraid. You build your internal weather around them without realizing you've handed someone else the forecast. They haven't raised their voice. They haven't said anything cruel. They haven't had to. Level 4, the architecture. You are 6 months in and you know their moods before they walk through the door. This feels like intimacy. It isn't. It's survival reflex dressed up as closeness. You know which topics to avoid. You know that Thursdays are hard for them and to keep things light. You know that if they don't respond within 2 hours it means something, and you spend those 2 hours doing a slow internal calculation. What did I say? What did I do? How do I fix it before I even know what's broken? You're good at this now. You've become efficient. Your friends notice you've gotten quieter about your own life. You used to talk about your goals, your frustrations, your ideas. Now when they ask how things are going you say good and redirect to something else. The truth is you're not sure. You've been so focused on managing the atmosphere that you haven't checked in with yourself in weeks. But there are good days. Beautiful days. Days where they look at you and you feel like the only solid thing in a room. You stay for those days. Level 5, the revision. They tell you, calmly, that you're too sensitive. It happens after you express that something hurt you. They don't get angry. They get measured. Analytical. They walk you through why your reaction was disproportionate. By the end of the conversation, you have apologized for bringing it up. You don't notice this the first time. By the 5th time, you notice. But you've already absorbed the revision. You second-guess your own reactions before you have them. You draft how you'll say something, then delete it, then draft it again, trying to make it land in a way that won't trigger a response you'll have to manage. You are doing enormous amounts of invisible labor. Emotional calculus running 24 hours a day. You try to explain this to one friend. They say, that doesn't sound right. You find yourself defending the person who is exhausting you. You go home and report the conversation. They say your friend doesn't understand the full picture. You start keeping the full picture to yourself. That is the point. Level 6, the isolation. It's been 14 months and the circle has gotten small. Not from a single decision. From 100 tiny ones. The friend who asked too many questions. The family dinner you stopped attending because it was easier than explaining why they didn't come. The coworker you used to eat lunch with every Thursday whose messages you now leave unread because you don't have the energy to be okay for someone else. Your world has contracted around one person. They are the first call when something good happens. The first call when something bad happens. The person who knows your schedule, your fears, your passwords, your patterns. There is an intimacy in that. There is also a trap in that. And the two are so layered you can no longer find where one ends and the other begins. You tell yourself, this is what commitment looks like. This is choosing each other. Some part of you knows that's not quite right. That part has gotten very quiet. Level 7, the breaking point. You say something true. Not an attack. Not dramatic. Something honest, finally, after months of swallowing it. You say, I feel like I disappear in this. The response isn't what you expected. It's colder than anger. It's the calm withdrawal of warmth, total, precise, surgical. 3 days of silence that function like a punishment. And when they come back they reference it for weeks, in small ways, at strange moments. A reminder that you stepped out of line. You don't do it again. But something has changed. The thing that changed was you deciding, somewhere below language, that you will not be okay in this. You knew that before and you are knowing it again, but this time the knowing sits differently. Lower. Heavier. You start imagining leaving. Not seriously at first. Just the shape of it. What you'd take. Where you'd go. What the first morning alone would feel like. You feel guilty for imagining it. That guilt is the last hook. Level 8. The other side of the door. You leave on a Tuesday. Not with a speech. Not with a scene. You leave the way people leave things that have cost them too much, quietly with your hands shaking before you can talk yourself out of it. The first week is the worst week of your life. The silence is enormous. You reach for your phone to text them 17 times and stop yourself 16. You cry in your car in a parking lot and feel like you are grieving someone who is still alive, which is exactly what you are doing. But here is what happens slowly, the way light comes back slowly. You start hearing yourself again. Your own thoughts. Your own wants. The shape of your own mood on a given morning, unmediated, not running through the filter of how it might land. You realize you have not known what you wanted in 14 months. You realize how much you managed. How much you bent. How much you called love what was actually fear of losing something that was never entirely safe. There is no vindication in this. No clean ending. You will not hate them simply because it would be easier. And you will not romanticize what it cost you simply because leaving is hard. But you are on the other side of the door now. Somewhere, someone is 3 weeks into something that feels like gravity. They've screenshotted a text. They're rearranging their schedule without noticing. They feel chosen. They've read the articles. They know the signs. They think they're walking in with their eyes open. They will learn what you learned. The only question is how long it takes them to find the door.